Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Monaco College, bringing you the next in our series of what to look for in the night sky. We're talking about the week of August 28th, 2023 this time around. It's a big moon week. The moon is full on Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and it passes fairly near Saturn. So that's something to watch for as the week progresses here. The moon's filling out up until that point, and then after that it'll start waning back away. But it's going to be pretty full all week, washing out much of the sky, so kind of limiting what we can see in the sky. Enjoy the moon next to Saturn Wednesday night into Thursday this week. We'll take a chance to think about then what we see in the evening sky and the morning sky. We probably talk about this time of year every year, and I don't know why this particular time of year this appeals to me. I start to think about this probably because the nights are getting longer, right? For us here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're getting longer nights, so we have more dark sky. So what's happening? If the sun is here, it's daytime over on this side of the Earth. This is the Earth. This is the sun. And we have daytime over here, and it's nighttime over here. So we tend to think about this as the constellations we see out this direction as being the constellations that we associate with this season. That would be midnight right here. Those are the constellations that are high overhead at midnight. Oftentimes, we're out looking at the evening sky before midnight. A lot of people would do most of their observing shortly after dark. So it might not be the midnight sky. It might be the sky that's closer to sunset over this direction that we might be associating with that time of year. So we're headed from summer into autumn for that. But because the Earth is, so a couple of things. Because the Earth is orbiting around the sun, by the time it gets over here, the nighttime sky is out that direction. Very different stars we're looking at, and up here, going to be completely different stars, more or less, that we're looking at. But because the Earth is rotating, in addition to orbiting, we actually see night sky, more of the night sky. What we can't see is that stuff that's closest to the sun that direction. So we actually get access to more of the night sky, and as we get fall into winter, we're going to be able to see a larger fraction of the sky just because it's darker longer, a larger fraction of the night sky. So right now, this week, as it's getting dark, you look to the west and see what's leaving, what's departing. And there are actually stars. I didn't draw them on the board because it got messy fast, as it was. It always gets messy fast, right? But to say, here's the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper is skimming the horizon. If you've got a good northwestern horizon, you can see the Big Dipper down against the northwestern horizon if you're far enough north. And so circumpolar, it's always up in the sky for me and for many Northern Hemisphere observers. It's so close to the North Celestial Pole. The North Star is out here, right? And so you'll be able to see it. We'd like to say the handle of the Big Dipper arcs to Arcturus. So it'll be the brightest star in that region, looking sort of to the west. As you arc down from the handle of the Big Dipper, you'll arc to this Arcturus. And it's low on the horizon as well, and not easy to see, but bright enough to pick out, I think. And it's about 45 degrees above the horizon, so you don't need that much of a horizon, right? So you've got about 45 degrees above the horizon when you're looking to the west. Maybe it'll feel like you're looking more northwest. So when you're looking to the northwest, from where you are probably, you'll see this orangish star. It's not real orange star, but it looks that way low on the horizon, lower on the horizon like this. About 25 degrees. 2.5 fists width. So it's about 30 degrees from the end star in the handle of the Big Dipper over to Arcturus. So if you can see that, 30 degrees, about 25 degrees off to the west. So about the same distance, a little bit less, 2.5 fist widths at arm's length. You've got Unuk al-Hay. This is the neck of the snake, and this is in Serpens. And so it's a nice 2.6 magnitude star. It's also about 45. So you're going more or less due west. From here, it's about 45 degrees above the horizon as well. So about the same distance above the horizon, you'll see this 2.6 magnitude star. Now remember, you can see stars probably down to about 5th magnitude or so, depending on how dark your sky is. We used to say 6th magnitude was the limit of what you could see. And maybe if you got dark enough skies, if you got dark, if you're watching this from a desert, you might be able to see that. But probably most of us, somewhere around 5th magnitude, we start to lose these stars. But that's pretty bright. Every step in magnitude, 5th to 4th, that's 2.5 times brighter. 4th to 3rd, that's another 2.5 times brighter. So this star should pop out. It's the brightest star in Serpens. Now last week we talked about Ophiuchus, and I don't think we actually talked about the we usually associate that with a snake handler. And so this is the snake. This is attached to Ophiuchus. If you go back and watch last week's video, and I don't know why you wouldn't, and we mapped out the stars of Ophiuchus just beautifully, you're looking off to the west of there right now. This attaches to last week's discussion. And the other thing we talked about last week is that we're looking generally toward the center of the galaxy that way, and there were a lot of globular star clusters. And we got one we might be able to pick out here, especially late in the week as the moon gets past full and starts rising after dark a little bit. You got a little bit of time before the moon gets up into the sky. You might come down here and come over, so you arc to Arcturus, move on over, and then drop down about 7.5 degrees to M5, the globular cluster, that direction. Now this is actually, if you want to have some fun, work back this direction towards stars that are in Virgo. Virgo we very much think of as a spring sky, and that's kind of where we're getting at. This over here is a spring sky, is to say Virgo we think of as spring. The Big Dipper is really more a marker of spring than fall. So see if you can track over this direction these stars that are more straight toward the horizon from Arcturus, and see if you can see there's a few 3 and 4 magnitude stars, sort of 4th magnitude stars in there that are in the upper reaches of Virgo. Now Mars is in Virgo, Spica is the bright star in Virgo, but these are getting really close to the sun and hard to see. But maybe you can pick out some of these stars down this direction, find a star map and a star chart, and see if you can identify some of these stars in Virgo, and realize that we're looking at a springtime sky typically here. Well, back over here in Serpens, we found the Alpha star. Go up about 5 degrees, and you've got the Delta star, and drop down about 2.5 degrees, and you've got Epsilon star. These are 3.8 magnitude and 3.7 magnitude. They're about the same brightness. Not super bright stars, kind of like the stars of the Little Dipper. You might be able to pick that out. So if you haven't ever identified stars in Serpens before, give that a try. You got Ophiuchus, you got Serpens. See if you can find globular star cluster M5. Now, if you wait all night, so you've watched the moon moving towards Saturn and then past Saturn as the week progresses, and we get into the morning sky, by now you've got Jupiter well up in the morning sky. In fact, you go out and you look at the sky after midnight now in the morning, and Jupiter and Saturn are the biggest, brightest objects in the sky. You'll see Jupiter and Saturn shining brightly over there. But you've also got the bright stars of winter starting to appear. So about 25 degrees to the west of Jupiter is Aldebaran, the eye of the bull. And so it's in Taurus right there. We see the V of the Hyades of Taurus, and we've got the beautiful Pleiades open star cluster. You can see it without any optical aid. Go out and look at it. If you've got binoculars, it's great. If you've got a low-power telescope eyepiece, low magnification, that's great as well. So try to enjoy the Pleiades and the Jupiter here, and Saturn and Aldebaran. Saturn's a little further away down there than what I drew, but I was running into our mess in that direction. And then coming up behind that, Orion's already coming up. So we got these stars that we think of as good, deep winter stars. And that's because we're looking over this direction in the morning, and we're looking over this direction in the evening. So in the evening, we can see these stars of spring, and in the morning, when we've rotated around and are looking this direction at nighttime, we can see the stars of winter rising. So by the time you get to, for me, by the time I get to 4 o'clock in the morning, Orion is well up over the horizon. You've got the bright orange Betelgeuse up here is the shoulder star of Orion, and it's about the same distance on up to the bright orange Aldebaran as it is from Aldebaran over to Jupiter. So that's the pattern we're looking for. We're looking for Betelgeuse to Aldebaran to Jupiter, and being sort of the same distance, 22 degrees and 24 degrees, separating those things. Bump, bump, and see if you can, all bright. Jupiter's bright. Jupiter's the brightest object there. Aldebaran and Betelgeuse are really bright. So you've got all really bright objects across there to make that pattern. Then drop on down and see Saturn. But mostly appreciate the fact that you've got stars of winter rising early in the morning now, easy to see. It lets us know we're in a transition time, and the stars of spring we're hanging on to and seeing just a little bit of as they go away. So hopefully you have a good week. Hopefully you have a chance to get out and observe some, and there's something interesting in here you might be able to try to find. As always, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll have something new for you next week.